Our second event was the Northern Maryland District. It was in Hartford Technical High School in Bel Air, Maryland, just a little up north of Baltimore.
Friday, just like the previous competition, was a day we come in, we set up, do any tweaks to our robot, quick repairs, get inspected, calibrate radios, all sorts of stuff, just to kind of get ready for the competition.
All we had to do was set up the pit and get inspected. Both of those happened very quickly.
Kenneth returned for this competition. Previous competition he was not there, which was the reason I was the drive coach.
Marcus was phenomenal at the first competition we went to, and the strategy team felt like it would be imprudent to break up the chemistry that he had developed with the drive team. And we also felt that I could be better utilized forming relationships and helping to direct the rest of the strategy efforts.
I also believe Kenneth likes doing the stands and pit work more than being the drive coach itself, so it kind of worked out pretty well.
So we didn't start off Saturday as well as we'd hoped. We lost our first two matches. These were mainly due to little technical issues that we needed to fix. For one of the matches, our battery wasn't properly connected, so we actually ended up losing communications with our RoboRio, and we weren't able to get across to the robot.
Basically, we had communications issues with the robot, so that cost us our first two matches, putting us ranked in the 30s out of 33 teams. So that was kind of painful. And we weren't consistently winning matches and getting the breaches. It was, we want to win a match, and that's really good, and a breach should also be pretty nice, but we weren't in the position we were last Saturday. We were able to get the robot running reliably, but we still had a few problems with the breacher arm. It broke again.
So the breacher arm break was caused by the cameras, all three not relaying information properly, which caused the robot to be delayed, like a laggy computer where you type on it and then the text doesn't show up until a couple seconds later. That's basically what happened. So the other driver and I were inputting commands with the joysticks and with the Xbox, and they weren't being received until they were all at once. So then the robot started driving without us being in control per se. And it went under the low bar and smashed arm first into the wall. And both of the 3D knuckles, the intentional failure points, broke. And we had a match very soon after it, and we needed a quick fix.
So what we had with us in our pre-manufactured parts bin, we had a pre-assembled prototype arm. It was just one arm.
So we put on the single arm, and the next match that we did with the single arm had the Cheval. And we did it much more successfully than we had done it with the double arm.
And what the drivers told me and the people in the pits was the one-arm configuration is actually easier to use. It's quicker, and it breaks less easily.
We found it much easier to go across the Cheval with the single arm rather than the double arm.
We decided that it was better to simply go with the one arm. And that's actually how it developed, is the drivers liked it better, and we ended up going with the one-arm configuration because it was actually braking less.
It was pretty much then a no-brainer to keep that on for the rest of the duration of the competition. We were able to, at the end of Saturday, do a little bit better.
So we were 12th at the end of Saturday with a 5-4 record. Last week at Greater DC, we were actually first coming out of Saturday.
We weren't in the place we had wanted to be per se, but we still knew that we could be at least relatively successful as Sunday happens and qualifications winded down.
We ended Saturday much stronger than we began Saturday. We were sitting at rank 12, and most of the talks that night were about how we were going to get picked by Alliance captain.
So me and Kenneth had a video conference meeting at the end of Saturday about how we were going to go about doing our elimination strategy. And really it depended on a lot of things. But one of the ones that was pretty important was we needed to win a lot on Sunday. We couldn't have a bad day on Sunday because Sunday, it makes or breaks the competition. We were very fortunate to be able to win out.
We came hot out of the gate on Sunday. We were able to execute our match strategy very effectively.
Everything was going smoother. With the one-arm configuration, there wasn't as much stress on the arm, so nothing was breaking as much. The drivers really started getting into a rhythm.
We were able to win our first match with the breach, win our second match with the breach and the capture. That was one of the only times that happened that competition. And we were able to win again with the breach. We were able to climb in the rankings from 12th to 5th, which is a pretty big jump in just 3 matches.
We won all 3 of our matches on Sunday, thanks to both good alliances and our mechanisms performing very well. We were pretty successful, and we were able to test out shooter for the first time. And we determined it to be, in our last 2 matches, very successful. We made like 12 out of 13 shots, so we realized that going into eliminations, we hadn't really used our shooter much prior to that, and we knew it worked, and we knew it was at least relatively effective, but we weren't sure how much we would actually use it. But we determined that it was more effective than we anticipated, and we use it a lot in eliminations.
and so we ended ranked 5th going into Alliance selections.
It was eerily similar to last competition. We were ranked 5th going into Alliance selection.
So during Alliance selection, just like Greater DC, there were some picks amongst the top 4 people.
Jagbots took Titanium Rex with the first overall pick, who were the number 2 seed at the time.
So we actually became the 4th seeded Alliance captains. This time around, we picked Team 5115, the Knight Riders, and Team 4456, which was the Met Cadets.
With the first round pick, we selected Team 5115 Knight Riders. They were a strong breaching team. We believe that having a second breacher on the team would free us up to use our shooter more and to be able to match firepower with some of the other high-seeded alliances. With the second round pick, we selected Team 4456 Met Cadets. Based on their strength as a drivetrain and the skill of their drivers, we believe that they could be utilized very effectively as a defensive robot against some of the alliances that outmatched us in shooting.
The closest matches we had were actually in the quarterfinals against the number 5 seeded alliance.
The execution of the strategy in the first match was relatively smooth, and we were able to outpace the other alliance because we were able to get all 5 outerworks down as opposed to 4 for them. We took that match by, I believe, a margin of 6 points.
We won the first match by 6. We lost the second match by 5.
The execution of the strategy in the second match was much more sloppy. We were taking second and third tries to clear some of the articulated and even unarticulated defenses, and our alliance accumulated a foul near the end of the match that ended up costing us the match. We lost by 5 points, which is how much a foul is worth.
In the third and final match, we won by just 1 point, so it was literally as close as it could have gotten. Another boulder than a low goal would have tipped the scales. It's as close as it could have gotten.
I believe we were highly fortunate to make it out of the quarterfinal round of eliminations. We won that match by 1 point, and I was sweating throughout.
So we were lucky enough to beat the 5th seed alliance, and that was well fought.
In the semifinals, we were up against the 1st seed alliance. Very similar actually to last week.
We played the number 1 seeded alliance, which the strategy team had designed our alliance to match up well with. The other alliance was comprised of a pair of high shooters and a defensive/breacher bot.
We changed up our strategy. We had 4456 go back and play defense. And I think allowing them to do that was part of what made our alliance so strong moving forward. We were able to limit the high goal cycles of the other alliance and low goal cycles of the other alliance just by virtue of playing defense. And that's something our team couldn't have matched in cycle power, but by playing defense on them and having a really strong breacher bot in 5115 and us having a pretty good shooter, we were able to match their firepower.
They opened the first match with a subpar autonomous, which allowed us to claim a lead and never lose it throughout the course of the match. The other match, I was apprehensive for the final outcome of the match. However, before our defensive bot was able to get over there, they reported that Jagbots was not moving, and Jagbots was not playing dead. They were actually dead. So that match was pretty much decided from the moment Jagbots lost the ability to move.
So last week when we played up against the number 1 seeded alliance, it came down to a tiebreaker, but this time it didn't come down to a tiebreaker. We won the first 2 matches by a decent win margin.
So we were ecstatic to have won semifinals.
We were very close to taking down the number 1 seed in our first competition, and to actually realize our goals and make it into the finals for the first time since my sophomore year aerial assist was truly a remarkable experience.
The atmosphere when we won, it was really incredible. Everyone in the stands kind of went crazy. Everyone was just really pumped up. It was so incredible to be a part of. Everyone was hugging and screaming, and it was amazing.
It was incredibly exciting. The crowd was just amazing. Everyone was cheering, and the atmosphere was really great. We had the other members of our alliance sitting with us, so everyone was going nuts.
So the only other time our team has been to the finals in a regular season event was my freshman year.
So back in 2014, aerial assist year, we were the 6th seeded alliance. That year we were picked by Team 1418 Vivictus as well as Team 1885 iLight. It was really incredible that a 6th seeded alliance was able to make it all the way to finals and play the number 1 seeded alliance, and we just barely lost. But it was rough, but we were still incredibly happy.
Going into the finals, we had not yet used our alliance's timeout. And I told Marcus that if we lose the first match, pop that timeout. I mean, we can't afford to let them win 2 straight and go out 2-0. And the first finals in 3 years.
Finals were scary. We lost our first match. And we were confident in our strategy, but perhaps slightly less so going into the second match.
We lost by an embarrassing margin for a finals alliance.
Kenneth made an amazing decision that if we lost, we would take the time out to cool off, fix our robot, make sure everything was working right, and just relax and go back into the second match as if it was the first match.
The timeout was more to dampen the momentum of the other team than to actually figure out anything on our part. I mean, what needed to happen is we needed to play better.
And by taking that time out, we were able to do that. We were able to regroup our team, re-evaluate the strategy, and 44-56 in the second match, they played some of the best defense I've ever seen. It was amazing. They've been playing pretty good defense before, but in that second match, it was some of the best defense I've seen in this game so far.
So then we won the second match of finals, and we were very excited to be going to the rubber match. It was very dramatic. Spirits were high, but also it was very tense.
Winning the second match sent us into a sudden death / tiebreaker match where the winner would take the finals and the event crown.
So it all came down to the final match.
About 15 to 20 seconds into teleop, when I was watching the opposing alliance's execution from the stands, I noticed that Team 1111, the alliance captain, had their left side wheels entrenched in the moat and their right side on the carpet. And I initially assumed that they would spin and twist out of that position. However, as 15 to 20 more seconds elapsed, I realized that this was a predicament that they could not get out of without Alliance assistance. And I'm sure their Alliance realized this too, as they sent another robot to go try to bump them out of the moat, which took away part of their scoring cycle. At this point, we had taken a rather sizable lead as the primary scorer was down for the count, as you will.
And the final match was not close. We won by about 30 points.
We won the finals rubber match. We executed strategy pretty well. There was good communication between the teams, and everything that needed to get done got done. It all came together.
Unlike 2014, we actually won the third match. We won a district. That was just incredible. The crowd was amazing. Everyone jumping up and down, hugging each other left and right. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had.
It was amazing. The first thing we did, obviously, you get the robot, you turn it off, and you shake hands with the other alliance. It was definitely a very close 3 matches. Our first on-season win of a competition, and we were so excited, and we hugged both of our alliance members like 1,000 times, and everyone was so hyped about it. Again, the atmosphere was just so crazy, and everyone in the stands was going nuts.
Yeah! Wow! Yeah! Yeah, baby, yeah!
A 4th seed alliance winning the finals, it was just such an amazing feeling.
We were very happy. I mean, the spirit from the stands was outstanding.
So winning the event was one of the greatest feelings I've ever had.
Please join us in celebrating their achievements. Congratulations to the Alliance captain, Team 2537.
Being able to actually win an event, actually be the *1 on a team, not an individual sport, being the #1 as a team, it just felt amazing. The first time in our team's history, everyone in the stands was going, I mean, no one really knew what to do. We'd never made it to this point ever before. No one on our team has. So, I mean, I literally told our strategy mentor, like, look, I don't know what to do. I told everyone on the other team, good game. I shook their hands. They really did play very well, but I didn't know what to do. I'd never won before, and it felt really good. So basically, we were able to do well enough at this event that we are currently ranked 5th in the district. Other teams haven't played their second event, so we suppose we'll drop to around 11th or 12th in the district. But that will put us well over the number of points needed to make it to district championships.
Now that's a top priority. We're kind of full steam ahead on making sure everything's prepared and that we have all the little mechanical fixes here and there, and that our autonomous is running smoothly.
We're going to go into district champs doing the best that we can, and we may or may not have an opportunity to compete at the World Championships in St. Louis. It would be one of the best experiences this team has ever had. It would be the very first time the team has ever gone to Worlds.
We're just excited, and we're so glad to be part of it.
I'm just incredibly proud of all these great, hardworking people. We really did a great job. We put together a robot even through some adversities, and I'm just incredibly happy to say that I'm the captain of these guys.